My evil student threw a chair at me. His mum says her angel would never do that, but it's on film. I teach. I've done so for the past 13 years now. Most parents are just fine. They care for and love their children and treat me and my colleagues with respect. You have the occasional parent you don't see because they don't care, the helicopter or curling parent, and the parent who doesn't believe that they're raising Satan's offspring. The latter is the one I had the misfortune to deal with for 2 fluffing years. I was a mentor of 20 kids in their first 2 years of secondary school. It has its ups and downs, with the biggest ups that you know every fiber of every kid, with the downsides being 2 years of relative hell if you had kids who were complete nightmares. Kids started secondary school with me as a mentor. He started out all right. There were some minor things that were normal for teenagers trying to fit in. It all started just after the Christmas holidays of that first year. Nothing special happened. It's like a switch just flipped inside this kid. Bullying classmates and other students, pushing around, being extremely disruptive in class, cursing at teachers, grabbing things, up to the point we suspected he stole things from teachers and students alike. But a lack of security cameras was a problem. Mum and Dad were invited many times. School counselor and my boss sat in on many of these conversations. Mother denied everything and claimed that her son didn't do such things. We didn't get any further, but had no grounds for expelling the son. Summer break came, and due to the fact that a lot of things went missing, cameras were set up. Classes started in year 2 with this kid, and the first day he let me know that he was there and he had changed for the worse. We had 5 calls with Mum in that first week alone. I talked with the school counselor, therapists, and even child protection services. We had our suspicions about her behavior. I just had my degree for 3 years, and I knew that this kid's sudden change in behavior was a huge red flag. CPS did an investigation and included no reason for further action. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that the parents agreed to a visit from the child protection services, but didn't accept anything else, although CPS suggested they talk with us about some tests and getting this kid some help. We kept reporting to CPS and asking for their help throughout the rest of the ordeal. The only thing Mum kept saying was, "My son wouldn't do that. He isn't like that." Did she know something? Maybe. So I kept talking with this kid and treating him fair and honest and tried to see what was going on. Referred him to people he could turn to who, although they're mandated reporters, have a confidentiality clause meaning that I don't hear anything he doesn't want me to know. They went to talk to him and he just told them to F off. School administration had my back and helped where they could. I jumped through every hoop possible just to see how and if I could help him. So please cut me some slack. I did what I could, and I still wonder if I could have done something more. Was it something really crazy going on at home? It could be. I hope not, but it's possible. Maybe some mental health issues that reared their head. Also a possibility. Did Mum know something if something happened? Who knows? Or was she just a mother who loves her child so much that she's willing to oversee every wrongdoing of her son? I don't know. Mum was invited once more, and then she was surprised that I was the only teacher complaining. Like, what the actual heck, lady? Did you not listen that multiple teachers complained through me, and that I told you multiple times what they said to you? Nope. She demanded that she get a call or email from the respective teachers herself if her son did do anything. And I quote, "But I highly doubt that, since I know my son won't ever do the things that you've said." Fuming at this point, I said I'd talk to my colleagues. Cue the malicious compliance. So, Mum wants direct contact from the teacher who sees her son doing or saying things that he shouldn't? Alright, you ask and we get it. The kid was being such a jerk by now that he was well known throughout the school. So in the next school-wide meeting, I told her demands to the other teachers. Some frowns here and there, but then I saw it. Eyes glistening, evil grins started to come along with the evil laughter of teachers. By this time, the kid had set a record in the digital student entry system. 20 entries a day from him alone. It all started the next day. Kid came onto the school property, walked up to a classmate, and started insulting him and his mother who had terminal illness. 2 teachers heard and saw him do that, so 2 teachers sent an email to Mummy Dearest. 3 periods of lessons with a variety of terrible behavior. 3 emails were sent yet again. During first break, the kid threw a bin through the canteen. 3 teachers and the custodian saw it, so 4 emails about that. Then the custodian emailed again, telling that he refused to clean up after himself and threw a chair before leaving. Another 5 periods that day with 6 teachers. Science had 2 teachers. So you guessed it, 6 emails and 3 phone calls to Mummy Dearest. So on average, Mum got 15 emails a day from the teachers alone, and I had the immense pleasure to call or email every day to give a recap. Every email was sent with a read notification, so every email Mummy had to click on that message every single time. To get certain help, you need a paper trail, and one part is that parents know about the issues. We may have gone too far, but we didn't want Mum saying that we didn't contact her in any form. Anyway, after 2 weeks of this, Mum called and the conversation went as follows. Yeah, I saw the emails. This is getting a bit too much now. Is it? But the last time we spoke here at school, you demanded that every teacher and every other worker at school would call or send you an email about the goings-on of the kid. We're simply adhering by your request to be kept up to date and that you heard from my colleagues personally. You can stop now. Unfortunately, we can't. Since the kid does all of these things, it's our duty to keep parents up to date on what their child does at the school. Also, you requested it and we don't want you to get upset by not knowing what is going on with the kid. This is getting out of hand. Is it? I don't think so. My colleagues even said they like it so much that you're such an involved parent and that you like to hear from them. So thank you for that. Bye now. Hanging up on her was very satisfying, I'm not going to lie. While we were busy trying to get all kinds of help around the kid, guidance counselors, therapists, among other things, he finally bombed every chance to stay at the school. He decided that shouting, cursing, insulting, and wishing the worst possible diseases upon my colleagues and myself just wasn't enough for him anymore. When I wanted to talk to him yet again about his behavior, he picked up a chair and decided to hit me with it, in full view of the class, a colleague, and the cameras. The kid was tackled and pinned down by classmates. A colleague called the cops, who have their lovely station across the street. We got the kids off this kid, and I managed to get away with no broken bones but some big bruises. The school filed the charges for me. The fun part is that I got to sit with Mummy Dearest and Dad, and even then she tried to deny that her son would do such a thing, until she and Dad got to see the footage. The look on their faces was priceless. I wish I had the permission to record it so that I could watch it time and again with a soda and some popcorn. The kid was expelled. He got some hefty community service and a fine, which is normal here. Got a juvenile record as well. To answer a likely question, where was the dad in all this? Dad was apparently kept in the dark about what the kid did. The emails were sent to a shared email account, but since email on phones wasn't a thing back then, he never saw the emails as she hid them. Dad later divorced Mum as apparently she'd been spinning a lot of lies about a lot of things. The good part? Dad felt so sorry for what his son had done that he sent care packages to all the personnel at the school. Last I heard, the kid still lived with his mother and didn't have a job or anything. But that was 3 years ago. Haven't heard anything after. He was a good kid, he helped others with homework, was polite and had a good sense of humor, he just did wrong things and there was no stopping him. He had a mother who defended his every action. I just hope that he has a decent life now and a healthy life with happiness in it. The best part? We didn't have to deal with him or his mum ever again. We got his brother though, and we continued the emails and calls with Dad to tell him what a wonderful boy this kid was. God damn. So this kid almost certainly had some kind of undiagnosed issue that was causing him to act out like this, if the author is pointing out that he had his moments as a good student, right? So it's not like Mum was just covering for a real piece of crap, she was actively preventing him from getting any help he might need. Right up until the kid took an action that got him removed from the school, and likely into a less familiar environment, where he might have even acted out more. It's just so important to hold people accountable and at least try to explain why their actions are wrong to them. It's not good parenting to try and shield them from accountability, and this woman in all likelihood stunted his development to well-adjusted adulthood by treating him the way she did. Look, it's still important to love and support people after they screw up, but you do have to do the hard thing and hold your friends and family responsible sometimes. It sucks, and they can hate you for it, but on the off chance that it takes them off a vicious and self-destructive path, it's so worth it. And if it's your friends rather than your family and they choose not to talk to you after you do it, then hey, you don't have to deal with them anymore. Which is a very cold kind of silver lining for me to give you, but there you go. If you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out, linked below. Also, go to amithejerk.com/submit if you would like to submit your own stories. I messed up by flushing my kidneys. This has happened over the last few weeks. A few weeks ago, I saw an interview on ESPN about Kevin Love's diet, and he mentioned that he tried to drink his weight in fluid ounces of water every day. I play basketball often, and I'm trying to clean up my diet, so I immediately thought, wow, what a fantastic idea. I should try that. I invested in a 52-ounce water bottle and tried to drink it 4 times daily. What followed was the worst month of my life so far as GI issues are concerned. I felt like crap all the time. I lost a ton of weight because my appetite was completely gone. I had awful cramps almost nightly. I'd spend several hours on the toilet every day, either peeing or trying to get out my cramps through number 2s. I couldn't drink any alcohol without throwing up, so going out with friends was totally out of the question. Basketball became unbearable. I'd sweat bullets anytime I was slightly warm, which really grossed everyone out. I couldn't sleep well because I always woke up in pools of sweat. I always felt full. My eyes felt like they were about to pop out of my head constantly. It was awful. I felt very, very sick all of the time. I'd heard of water intoxication, but I assumed that took several gallons in a short period of time. So I kept up my routine for the entire month. I should also mention that I hate water. I would typically chug the water bottle as fast as I could to get it over with. So I was ingesting a lot of water very quickly over an extended period of time. Genius, right? Finally, I got to the doctor. I explained what was going on and he immediately started ordering all kinds of tests, very worried about some kind of stomach cancer, or Crohn's, celiacs, ulcers, among other things. My doctor knows me quite well and is an all-round great guy, so he knows something was definitely wrong. And I'm a little freaked out at this point, calling my mum and thinking about taking a semester off college, because I was so mentally exhausted and feeling terrible all the time. It was rough. The doctor sees I'm a little panicked and noticed my mega-sized bottle of water hanging on my backpack. He says something about how well hydrated I must be. I laugh and proudly tell him I drink it 4 times a day. He laughs at first and then looks at me. Wait, are you serious? Yeah. For how long? Oh, for a few weeks. When was the last time you drank Gatorade or ate something salty? Oh, I don't know, a while I guess. The doctor looks at me with sheer disbelief at my stupidity. You flushed out all of your sodium, idiot. Go drink some Gatorade and eat some salty popcorn. So a 6-pack of Gatorade and a few days of only a few glasses of water a day and I'm back to perfectly healthy. For frick's sake. Basically, I had the bright idea to drink a grotesque amount of water daily. Flushed all the sodium out of my system and I had a miserable month of GI issues. Cripes! This is why we don't listen to nutrition advice from people who aren't dietitians. And even then you have to check their credentials because literally anyone can call themselves a dietitian or nutritionist. Because there are no legal repercussions to calling yourself a nutritionist without training. The narrator could technically start a YouTube channel this evening called The Dialect Confused Nutritionist, start handing out dietary advice and nobody could come after me on the basis of my credentials. If you hear Kevin Love or bloody Joe Rogan dishing out advice on how to achieve peak performance through your diet, go to a accredited dietitian or at least Google the damn diet they're suggesting. There are probably qualified people who run blogs on this sort of thing. I don't know that I can call anyone apart from possibly Kevin Love the jerk in this situation. Come at me, Kevin Love. My short, rake-thin YouTube narrator frame is probably a match for you, right? Also, it's very telling that your doctor saw 1 bottle hanging by you and said that you were more than likely getting all the water you needed just from that. Little did he know you were drinking 4 of them. I hope there was no long-term damage from your little hydration experiment. As an already kind of sweaty guy, I wouldn't want to try it. Best of luck to you. My ex-wife wants to itemize and split the cost of everything. So my ex-wife and I used to have a great relationship. But she's become petty and somewhat vindictive these last couple of months. Our relationship is starting to go downhill after her daughter, my ex-stepdaughter, broke into my house and stole from me and my new wife while we were on vacation together. Yes, I invited my ex-wife and her boyfriend to come on vacation with us, so it would be a family thing. My current wife was completely fine with this. And not only did we invite them, we paid for everything: plane tickets, rental house, meals, activities, among other things. We've done this before, and it was nice. While we were on this vacation, my ex-wife's daughter broke into our house and stole from us. We had to file a police report because some of the things stolen were medication and we couldn't get new prescriptions without filing a police report. I have my medical Mary J card, so all of the Mary J that she took was counted, and my wife's pain meds and asthma meds were also included as a Schedule 1 theft. Getting the feds involved upset my ex-wife, even though we told her before we called the police, and she said, quote, "Do what you need to do." Stepdaughter eventually got arrested because she kept skipping the scheduled meetings with the investigators and has since been charged with 3 felonies and has to go to court. Before this, my ex and I would pretty much just buy what the kids needed while we had them. Every once in a while, she'd ask me to split the cost of some things, and I would. I never asked her to split the cost of anything prior to this, but lately she's been asking to split the cost of just about everything. Fine, whatever. I usually get most of the things for the kids anyway. About a month ago, my son needed some new equipment for indoor lax. My wife asked if I would split. I said fine. When she took him out shopping, they couldn't find everything, so I bought most of it online. I asked her what she bought and how much, and I told her what I brought and how much. It turned out she owed me for the split. It was only about $40. I would have let it go, but she'd hounded me for a week over $5. This really annoyed her for some reason. She'd be fine when I have to pay her, but get annoyed when she had to pay me. I only asked her for the portion of the split because she asked me to split the cost in the first place. We argued back and forth, and then she came up with a list of things that we should not have to split and anything else we could split. So I started to keep track of the things that I paid for that were to be split between us. She gave me her list of what I owed her. Not a lot, I owed her $80. But when I gave her my list and her share, she now owes me $425. Am I a jerk? I mean, don't get me wrong, your ex-wife sounds like a real piece of work in her dealings. I just hope that you aren't deliberately running up the tally on what you owe each other just to mess her over. Depending on what her financial situation is, you might be really messing with her life. So she's a jerk, but we're really relying on you not to use your powers for evil here, Mr. Author. That said, it sounds like you've been making a genuine effort to co-parent with her and shouldering a lot of the financial burden up until now. And like she was kind of refusing to understand why you might have to file charges against her daughter. When you're getting angry at people for prosecuting your family for stealing, instead of getting angry at your family for stealing, I do wonder what kind of bias you have blinding you to everything going on in your life. But you really had to do that to get your meds, so I can't pin the blame on you here. Screw her over on her probation period? Okay. This happened to my sister-in-law. She's quite a lot younger than me and was working part-time in a chain shop while studying. After graduating with a business degree, she was offered a job managing one of the shoe stores. This obviously seemed like a fantastic opportunity for her first role as a graduate. She was on a probationary period for 3 months, and after that her salary would increase, although the probationary period could be extended. She hated it. The owner would give her instructions, and later that day his girlfriend would come in and give her the opposite instructions, then criticize her for the way she'd worked and micromanage her until she did it her way. The girlfriend wasn't part of the business at all, but sister-in-law didn't want to cause any issues, so she didn't argue. However, it was causing her a lot of stress. I noticed that she lost quite a bit of weight. It came to a bit of a head when my sister-in-law had spent a few hours sorting the filing out, then went to the shop to serve customers, went back in to finish the filing, and the girlfriend had gone through it all and messed it up, saying she'd organized it differently for her, wasting hours of my sister-in-law's time and causing her more work. She suspected that they were going to extend her probationary period to mess her over, even though she was doing a great job despite being sabotaged and micromanaged. Her staff loved her and sales were higher. She started looking for another job. Surprise, they extended her probationary period beyond, but she found a job paying more and 10 minutes from her flat. They wanted her to work ASAP, but she was sure she had to work her notice period, which was 6 weeks. She asked me to read her contract to see if I can confirm. The notice period was indeed 6 weeks, except for staff on probation. Either party could terminate with 1 week's notice on probation, so my sister-in-law tells the owner that she's quitting and giving 1 week's notice. The owner is caught on the hop and can't find another manager that quickly. Tells sister-in-law her notice period is 6 weeks, to which she takes great delight in pointing out that her probationary period has been extended and the required notice is 1 week. Sister-in-law has been at the new job for quite a while now and is much happier. So a lot of people are writing in to say that you can quit when you want. I should have clarified that we're in the UK. Some of you have correctly sussed that out, and contracts here can be enforced. What could they do if she was contracted to a longer notice period and refused to work? It's never happened to me or anyone I know, but the internet tells me that they could theoretically bill her for the cost difference to bring in someone to cover the remaining notice period. Although this could be costly and quite unlikely for them. Probably happens in higher paid positions. Thank you, employment laws. There's a lot of hell going on in the UK right now, but say what you like about it, it still isn't quite the hellscape for lower-level employees the same way as the US is. So yeah, the workplace, owner, and owner's girlfriend are all completely in the wrong here. I do feel like the sister-in-law probably could have vocalized that she was being given 2 sets of instructions to them. It might not have achieved anything and she might have had to end up leaving anyway. And as she was a fresh-faced and earnest new graduate, I can see why she didn't want to stir the pot too much. And if somehow that had worked out, she wouldn't have found her better paying option closer to home, and hopefully with less skeevy bosses. So good on you, sister-in-law. Enjoy the comparative lack of bullcrap on your everyday work life. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. Put the playlist on in the background to finish listening to all the stories. Or if you want to check out some great music, check out easymode.com. If you like Am I the Jerk, give Am I the Genius a shot. Everything linked in the description.